angels, this is ArielCH here and welcome to another video. Today's video we are talking about a user named Casper. So I started to dig in and found another person denying the apology that Melly had about those people that she did horrible onto and started apologizing for, and for how sad it is to see a person getting unforgiven. I did find unforgiveness to be heartbreaking because I found research to prove it. And I will show you proof of that later in this video, so yeah. Let's just start with the video and topic. So, I'm talking about a user who's by the name of Lima Bean. Not the fruit. Not the fruit named Lima Bean. A guy named Liam. That's what I'm talking about. The recipe appears weirdly ugly. Like, what the freak? I've seen some ugly things in my life. Dang! And there are many names of Lima Bean. What the freak? Which one is the real Lima? What the heck? Gosh, there's like a lot of them here. Okay. Okay, so let me just go back in time. So, Lima said this in response to this girl with this saying, Melly, I'm sorry if I have to say this, but I still don't forgive you. And the reason is unknown. But I found out the reason why is because he's just saying that he still doesn't like the fact that she was being negative to people who celebrate Pride Month. I know I can't support it, but it's just going too far. Here's the thing about Pride Month if you don't know. Pride Month actually is actually sin to Christians. Let me tell you a story. So if you don't know, Sodom and Gomorrah, if you don't know the story of that, basically it's a Bible story about an incident that occurred between the situation of Sodom and Gomorrah. Honestly, if you can clearly see the sin that Sodom and Gomorrah committed, the sin was very shocking. There is a cartoon about it already made, but I can show you some proof. So here it is. Sodom and Gomorrah is basically a biblical story about a situation that happened back in the Hebrew decades. Generation. This happened this is in Genesis chapter 18, and if you don't know about the story, it's a very tragic, it's a very dark and disturbing story, and it's all about the story of Lot and Abraham. Honestly, I'm sorry I need to bring the religious biblical stories to people on purpose, because it's right for me to be religious to people, so people know that people have been against Pride Month ever since time. Also, someone made a fully length movie about it, which is done by Daily Prayers. Don't blame me. That actually was a real movie. As you can see, two men kissing in this image. The freak. So, according to the official page on Brave's research, it did say, according to Brave, the question of whenever Eris is a sin to Christians is complex, but it does have an answer to us. It says here, according to what people already know, LGBTQ individuals were without necessary endorsing all aspects of Pride Month. But a post about a gospel collusion suggests that Christians should not reduce Pride Month to a simple single dimension, arguing that it is a multi-dimensional thamajig. God does not condone sin; he relates with sinners. Similarly, a youth pastor reflects that Jesus would treat those who feel unloved and unworthy as people to be loved as problems. And as you can see the rest of this in summary says, some Christians view Pride Month as a sin due to its association with LGBT entities and the border culture context of sexual diversity. Others take a more compassionate and nuanced approach and phasing an importance of understanding and engaging with the LGBTQ community. Honestly, I don't think it's a problem to speak against the LGBT supporters or Pride Month supporters. To me, I find it okay. I find it not a problem to me because I actually been a Christian myself, and I find this okay. People can hate on the thing all they want. There's no word named homophobia. That word is not a phobia. If you guys don't know what phobia is, let me show you that too. So people often misuse the term phobia, and there is actual meanings to what it means. So here's what it actually means. According to what I found on research, phobia means something like this. Comes from the Greek word of phobos, meaning fear or morbid fear. In central and physical and psychological context, it refers to interrational of an object or situation. For example, acrophobia is the fear of spiders, and arachnophobia is the fear of heights. However, in nonsensical or canonical uses, the term phobia has been involved to something implied in fear, in hatred, and dislike rather than just fear. For instance, homophobia is often used to describe prejudice or hostility towards homosexual individuals. Not just an irrational fear of them. The shift if the meaning has been noted in various decisions, with some suggesting that the term has been expanded to include a version of bigotry. The decision between fear and hatred and complex phobia can be complex. And while some sources emphasizes that phobia originally meant fear, others argue that in modern usage it may encompass dislike or hatred. For example, xenophobia is often understood a fear of foreign originers, but it can also imply a broader dislike or prejudice towards them. In similarities, while the word phobia historically means fear, its modern use sometimes elements of dislike or hatred or dislike depends on the context. So honestly, the modern use of phobia was from people around the world, but the original use of phobia was from a biologist, and psychologist, and a doctor. A doctor, most of the time. Even historical times often knew what phobia mean before it was modernly used differently. So the modern use of phobia was captioned as, "It's a hate or dislike." Well, it has two meanings, but even though it has two meanings, the original meaning stayed the same. Elliot is still there, like staring at me like he's a window to my soul. Honestly, I'm sure this video would get any more likes if Casper saw what I showed. This statement about phobia explains everything. Also, people out there who don't know Sodom and Gomorrah, please go check it out. It is a very good biblical story. It does involve some inappropriate situations but it is a story that has been told to all Christians who are grown up and can't be told to teenagers or to a child. You can't tell the story to kids unless they're older enough, because this story can be pretty inappropriate, and it may be inappropriate. And for Casper's shows of disliking someone's opinion on LGBT, that doesn't matter because it doesn't matter what they say against it. It's their opinion, not a phobia. Opinion is a different meaning. It has meanings too. Like, you can already tell that hate can be an opinion too, not just disliking something. Like, you can dislike, you can hate. It's okay. Thank you, and bye.